Welcome to REM Reads. We're so glad you're here. This is our first cycle, so to speak, and we hope you'll let us know how we're doing here in Season 1. Now is a good time to find your favorite sleeping position. Take a few deep breaths and just let go of the day. The only thing left on your schedule is to enjoy this time of rest and relaxation. We hope you enjoy the show. I've been whale watching twice in my life, each on opposite sides of North America. My East Coast experience was in the fishing town of Gloucester, Massachusetts, with my family. The day was overcast, not rainy, but one of those mornings where the air just felt cool and wet. By the time the boat disembarked, we couldn't tell the difference between a weather forecast and the salty mist from the Atlantic. Like a baby giraffe just finding its footing after being dropped into existence, I slowly shuffled across the canteen, through the foggy sliding glass doors, onto the deck. White caps punctuated the otherwise dark water, and I scanned its surface for any indication of something bigger than me, bigger than us, and potentially bigger than the boat. Eventually, the sleek spotted back of a blue whale slipped into view, with calves close by her side. Their exhales were surprisingly audible, and everyone crowded at the railing, pointing, yelling, and even clapping. Many years later, I was on another boat nestled between Washington State and British Columbia. Up until that afternoon, the closest I'd gotten to an orca was watching Free Willy in theaters, probably around the time of my East Coast whale watch. This time around, I scanned a sea of faces more than I did the Pacific. For this voyage, I was prepared with the camera and the habit-turned skill of observing people experiencing wonder, delight, disbelief, and excitement. Whales are a widely distributed and diverse group of fully aquatic placental marine mammals. As an informal and colloquial grouping, they respond to large members of the infraorder Cetacea, i.e., all cetaceans apart from dolphins and porpoises. Dolphins and porpoises may be considered whales from a formal cladistic perspective. Whales, dolphins, and porpoises, closest non-cetacean living relatives, are the hippopotamuses, from which they and other cetaceans diverged about 54 million years ago. The two parvorders of whales, baleen whales and toothed whales, are thought to have had their last common ancestor around 34 million years ago. Mysticetes include 4 living families: the rorquals, right whales, the pygmy right whale, and the gray whale. Odontocetes include the belugas and narwhals, the sperm whale, the dwarf and pygmy sperm whale, and the beaked whales, as well as the 6 families of dolphins and porpoises, which are not considered whales in the informal sense. Whales are fully aquatic, open ocean animals. They can feed, mate, give birth, and raise their young at sea. Whales range in size from 8.5 feet and 298 pounds, like the dwarf sperm whale, to 98 feet, 210 short tons, like the blue whale, which is the largest known animal that has ever lived. The sperm whale is the largest toothed predator on Earth. Several whale species exhibit sexual dimorphism in that the females are larger than males. Baleen whales have no teeth. Instead, they have plates of baleen, fringe-like structures that enable them to expel the huge mouthfuls of water they take in while retaining the krill and plankton they feed on. Because their heads are enormous, making up as much as 40% of their total body mass, and they have throat pleats that enable them to expand their mouths, they are able to take huge quantities of water into their mouth at a time. Baleen whales also have a well-developed sense of smell. Toothed whales, in contrast, have conical teeth adapted to catching fish or squid. They also have such keen hearing, whether above or below the surface of the water, that some can survive even if they are blind. Some species, such as sperm whales, are particularly well adapted for diving to great depths to catch squid and other favored prey. Whales evolved from land-living mammals and must regularly surface to breathe air, although they can remain underwater for long periods of time. Some species, such as the sperm whale, can stay underwater for up to 90 minutes. They have blowholes or modified nostrils located on the top of their heads, through which air is taken in and expelled. They are warm-blooded and have a layer of fat or blubber under the skin. With streamlined fusiform bodies and 2 limbs that are modified into flippers, whales can travel at speeds of up to 20 knots, though they are not as flexible or agile as seals. Whales produce a great variety of vocalizations, notably the extended songs of the humpback whale. Although whales are widespread, most species prefer the colder waters of the northern and southern hemispheres and migrate to the equator to give birth. Species such as humpbacks and blue whales are capable of traveling thousands of miles without feeding. Males typically mate with multiple females every year, but females only mate every 2 to 3 years. Calves are typically born in the spring and summer. Females bear all the responsibility for raising them. Mothers in some species fast and nurse their young for 1 to 2 years. Once relentlessly hunted for their products, whales are now protected by international law. North Atlantic right whales nearly became extinct in the 20th century, with a population low of 450, and North Pacific gray whale population is ranked critically endangered by the IUCN. Besides the threat from whalers, they also face threats from bycatch and marine pollution. The meat, blubber, and baleen of whales have traditionally been used by indigenous peoples of the Arctic. Whales have been depicted in various cultures worldwide, notably by the Inuit and the coastal peoples of Vietnam. Whales feature in literature and film, as with the great white whale in Herman Melville's novel Moby Dick. Small whales such as belugas are sometimes kept in captivity, but breeding success has been poor, and the animals often die within a few months of capture. Whale watching has become a form of tourism around the world. The word whale comes from Old English. The etymology is unrelated to the country of Wales. The term whale is sometimes used to include dolphins and porpoises, acting as a synonym for Cetacea. 6 species of oceanic dolphins have the word whale in their name, collectively known as blackfish, the orca or killer whale, the melon-headed whale, the pygmy killer whale, the false killer whale, and the 2 species of pilot whales. The term great whales covers those species currently regulated by the International Whaling Commission: sperm whales, right and bowhead whales, and gray whales. Whales are descendants of land-dwelling mammals, of even-toed ungulates. They first took to the sea approximately 49 million years ago and became fully aquatic 5 to 10 million years later. Their features became adapted for living in the marine environment. Major anatomical changes included their hearing setup that channeled vibrations from the jaw to the ear bone, a streamlined body and the growth of flukes on the tail, the migration of the nostrils toward the top of the cranium, and the modification of the forelimbs into flippers, and the shrinking and eventual disappearance of the hind limbs. Whale morphology shows several examples of convergent evolution, the most obvious being the streamlined fish-like body shape. Other examples include the use of echolocation for hunting in low-light conditions, which is the same hearing adaptation used by bats, and, in the rorqual whales, jaw adaptations, similar to those found in pelicans that enable engulfment feeding. Today, the closest living relatives of cetaceans are hippopotamuses. Whales have torpedo-shaped bodies with non-flexible necks, limbs modified into flippers, non-existent external ear flaps, a large tail fin, and flat heads, with the exception of monodontids and ziphids. Whale skulls have small eye orbits, long snouts, and eyes placed on the sides of its head. Whales range in size, from the dwarf sperm whale to the blue whale. The blue whale is the largest creature on Earth at 112 feet. Several species have female-biased sexual dimorphism, with the females being larger than the males. One exception is with the sperm whale, which has males longer than the females at 8.5 feet. Sperm whales possess teeth with cementum cells overlying dentine cells. Unlike human teeth, which are composed mostly of enamel on the portion of the tooth outside of the gum, whale teeth have cementum outside the gum. Only in larger whales, where the cementum is worn away on the tip of the tooth, does enamel show. Mysticetes have large whalebone as opposed to teeth made of keratin. Breathing involves expelling still air from the blowhole, forming an upward spout, followed by inhaling fresh air into the lungs. A humpback whale's lungs can hold about 1,300 gallons of air. Spout shapes differ among species, which facilitates identification. All whales have a thick layer of blubber. In species that live near the poles, the blubber can be as thick as 11 inches. This blubber can help with buoyancy, which is helpful for a 100-ton whale. Protection to some extent, as predators would have a hard time getting through a thick layer of fat, and energy for fasting when migrating to the equator. The primary usage for blubber is insulation from the harsh climate. It can constitute as much as 50% of the whale's body weight. Calves are born with only a thin layer of blubber. Whales have a 2 to 3 chambered stomach that is similar in structure to those of terrestrial carnivores. Whales have 2 flippers on the front and a tail fin. These flippers contain 4 digits. Although whales do not possess fully developed hind limbs, some, such as the sperm whale and bowhead whale, possess discrete rudimentary appendages, which may contain feet and digits. Whales are fast swimmers in comparison to seals, which typically cruise at 5 to 17 miles per hour. The fin whale, in comparison, can travel at speeds up to 29 miles an hour, and sperm whale can reach speeds of 22 miles per hour. The fusing of the neck vertebrae, while increasing stability when swimming at high speeds, decreases flexibility. Whales are unable to turn their heads. When swimming, whales rely on their tail fin to propel them through the water. Flipper movement is continuous. Whales swim by moving their tail fin and lower body up and down, propelling themselves through vertical movement, while their flippers are mainly used for steering. Some species log out of the water, which may allow them to travel faster. Their skeletal anatomy allows them to be fast swimmers. Most species have a dorsal fin. Whales are adapted for diving to great depths. In addition to their streamlined bodies, they can slow their heart rate to conserve oxygen. Blood is rerouted from tissue tolerant of water pressure to the heart and brain, among other organs. Hemoglobin and myoglobin store oxygen in body tissue, and they have twice the concentration of myoglobin than hemoglobin. Before going on long dives, many whales exhibit a behavior known as sounding. They stay close to the surface for a series of short, shallow dives while building their oxygen reserves and then making a sounding dive. The whale ear has specific adaptations to the marine environment. In humans, the middle ear works as an impedance equalizer between the outside ear's low impedance and the cochlear fluid's high impedance. In whales and other marine mammals, there is no great difference between the outer and inner environments. Instead of sound passing through the outer ear to middle ear, whales receive sound through the throat, from which it passes through a low impedance fat-filled cavity to the inner ear. The whale ear is acoustically isolated from the skull by air-filled sinus pockets, which allow for greater directional hearing underwater. Odontocetes send out high-frequency clicks from an organ known as a melon. This melon consists of fat, and the skull of any such creature containing a melon will have a large depression. A melon size varies between species. The bigger, the more dependent they are on it. A beaked whale, for example, has a small bulge sitting on top of its skull, whereas a sperm whale's head is filled up mainly with the melon. The whale eye is relatively small for its size, yet they retain a good degree of eyesight. As well as this, the eyes of a whale are placed on the sides of its head, so their vision consists of two fields, rather than a binocular view like humans have. When belugas surface, their lens and cornea correct the nearsightedness that results from the refraction of light. They contain both rod and cone cells, meaning they can see in both dim and bright light, and they have far more rod cells than they do cone cells. Whales do, however, lack short wavelength sensitive visual pigments in their cone cells, indicating a more limited capacity for color vision than most mammals. Most whales have slightly flattened eyeballs, enlarged pupils, and slightly flattened corneas. These adaptations allow for large amounts of light to pass through the eye and therefore a very clear image of the surrounding area. They also have glands on the eyelids, an outer corneal layer that act as protection for the cornea. The olfactory lobes are absent in toothed whales, suggesting that they have no sense of smell. Whales are not thought to have a good sense of taste, as their taste buds are atrophied or missing. However, some toothed whales have preferences between different kinds of fish, indicating some sort of attachment to taste. The presence of Jacobson's organ indicates that whales can smell food once inside their mouth, which might be similar to the sensation of taste. Whale vocalization is likely to serve several purposes. Some species, such as the humpback whale, communicate using melodic sounds known as whale song. These sounds may be extremely loud, depending on the species. Humpback whales only make clicks, while toothed whales use sonar that may generate up to 20,000 watts of sound, enabling them to be heard at great distances. Captive whales occasionally mimic human speech. Scientists have suggested this indicates a strong desire on behalf of the whales to communicate with humans, as whales have a very different vocal mechanism. Whales emit two distinct kinds of acoustic signals, which are called whistles and clicks. Clicks are quick broadband burst pulses used for sonar, although some lower frequency broadband vocalizations may serve a non-echolative purpose, such as communication. For example, the pulsed calls of belugas. Pulses in a click train are emitted at intervals of about 35 to 50 milliseconds. The interclick intervals are usually slightly greater than the round-trip time of sound to the target. Whistles are narrow-band frequency modulated signals used for communicative purposes, such as contact calls. Whales teach, learn, cooperate, scheme, and grieve. The neocortex of many species of whale is home to elongated spindle neurons. In humans, these cells are involved in social conduct, emotions, judgment, and theory of mind. Whale spindle neurons are found in areas of the brain homologous to where they are found in humans, suggesting that they perform a similar function. Brain size was previously considered a major indicator of the intelligence of an animal, since most of the brain is used for maintaining bodily functions. Greater ratios of brain to body mass may increase the amount of brain mass available for more complex cognitive tasks. Allometric analysis indicates that mammalian brain size scales at approximately the 2/3 or 3/4 exponent of the body mass. Comparison of a particular animal's brain size with the expected brain size based on such allometric analysis provides a quotient that can be used as an indication of animal intelligence. Sperm whales have the largest brain mass of any animal on Earth, averaging 8,000 cubic centimeters and 17 pounds in mature males. In comparison to the average human brain, which averages 1,450 cubic centimeters in mature males. The brain to body mass ratio in some odontocetes, such as belugas and narwhals, is second only to humans. Small whales engage in complex play behavior, which includes producing stable underwater vortex rings or bubble rings. There are two main methods of producing bubble rings: rapid puffing of a burst of air into the water and allowing it to rise into the surface, forming a ring, or swimming repeatedly in a circle and then stopping to inject air into the helical vortex currents thus formed. They also appear to enjoy biting the vortex rings, so that these burst into many separate bubbles and then rise quickly to the surface. Some believe this is a means of communication. Whales also produce bubble nets for the purpose of foraging. Larger whales are thought to some degree to engage in play. The southern right whale, for example, elevates its tail fluke above the water, remaining in the same position for a considerable amount of time, This is known as sailing. This is most commonly seen off the coast of Argentina and South Africa. Humpback whales display similar behavior. As with humans, the whale mode of reproduction typically produces but one offspring approximately once each year. This implies ensuring a high probability of survival for each calf with maternal care. Whales have a typical gestation period of 12 months. Once born, the absolute dependency of the calf upon the mother lasts from 1 to 2 years. Sexual maturity is achieved at around 7 to 10 years of age. The length of the developmental phase of a whale's early life varies between different whale species. Being mammals, they have mammary glands used for nursing calves. To feed the newborn, whales, being aquatic, must squirt the milk into the mouth of the calf. Nursing can occur while the mother whale is in the vertical or horizontal position. While nursing in the vertical position, a mother whale may sometimes rest with her tail flukes remaining stationary above the water. This position with the flukes above the water is known as whale tail sailing. Not all whale tail sailing includes nursing of the young, as whales have also been observed tail sailing while no calves were present. The milk contains high amounts of fat, which is meant to hasten the development of blubber. It contains so much fat that it has the consistency of toothpaste. Weaning occurs at about 11 months of age. Most baleen whales reside near the poles. To prevent the unborn baleen whale calves from dying of frostbite, the baleen mother must migrate to warmer calving and mating grounds. They stay there for months until the calf has developed enough blubber to survive the low temperatures of the poles. Until then, the baleen calves feed on the mother's fatty milk. With the exception of the humpback whale, the timing of whale migration is largely unknown. Most travel from the north or south into the tropics to mate, calve, and raise their young during the winter and spring. They return to the poles in the warmer summer months, so the calf can continue growing while the mother can continue eating as they fast in the breeding grounds. An exception to this is the southern right whale, which migrates to Patagonia and western New Zealand to calve. Both are well out of the tropics. Unlike most animals, whales are conscious breathers. All mammals sleep, but whales cannot afford to become unconscious for long because they may drown. While knowledge of sleep in wild cetaceans is limited, toothed cetaceans in captivity have been recorded to sleep with one side of their brain at a time, so that they may swim, breathe consciously, and avoid both predators and social contact during their period of rest. A 2008 study found that sperm whales sleep in vertical postures just under the surface in passive shallow drift dives, generally during the day, during which whales do not respond to passing vessels unless they are in contact, leading to the suggestion that whales possibly sleep during such dives. All whales are carnivorous and predatory. Odontocetes as a whole mostly feed on fish and cephalopods, and then followed by crustaceans and bivalves. All species are generalist and opportunistic feeders. Some whales, as a whole, mostly feed on krill and plankton, followed by crustaceans and other invertebrates. A few are specialists. Examples include the blue whale, which eats almost exclusively krill, and the sperm whale, which specialize on squid, and the gray whale, feeding on bottom-dwelling invertebrates. The elaborate baleen teeth of filter-feeding species allow them to remove water before they swallow their planktonic food by using the teeth as a sieve. Usually whales hunt solitarily, but they do sometimes hunt cooperatively in small groups. The former behavior is typical when hunting non-schooling fish, slow-moving or immobile invertebrates, or endothermic prey. When large amounts of prey are available, some whales hunt cooperatively in small groups. Some cetaceans may forage with other kinds of animals, such as other species of whales or certain species of pinnipeds. A 2010 study considered whales to be a positive influence to the productivity of ocean fisheries in what has been termed a whale pump. Whales carry nutrients such as nitrogen from the depths back to the surface. This functions as an upward biological pump, reversing an earlier presumption that whales accelerate the loss of nutrients to the bottom. This nitrogen input in the Gulf of Maine is more than the input of all rivers combined, emptying into the Gulf some 23,000 metric tons each year. Upon death, whale carcasses fall to the deep ocean and provide a substantial habitat for marine life. Evidence of whale falls in present-day and fossil records shows that deep-sea whale falls support a rich assemblage of creatures with a global diversity of 407 species, comparable to other neritic biodiversity hotspots, such as cold seeps and hydrothermal vents. Deterioration of whale carcasses happens through a series of 3 stages. Initially, moving organisms such as sharks and hagfish scavenge the soft tissues at a rapid rate over a period of months and as long as 2 years. This is followed by the colonization of bones and surrounding sediments, which contain organic matter, by enrichment opportunists, such as crustaceans, throughout a period of years. Finally, Pseudophilic bacteria reduce the bones, releasing hydrogen sulfide, enabling the growth of organisms, which in turn support organisms such as mussels, clams, limpets, and sea snails. This stage may last for decades and supports a rich assemblage of species, averaging 185 species per site. An estimated 13 million people went whale watching globally in 2008, in all oceans except the Arctic. Rules and codes of conduct have been created to minimize harassment of whales. Iceland, Japan, and Norway have both whaling and whale watching industries. Whale watching lobbyists are concerned that the most inquisitive whales, which approach boats closely and provide much of the entertainment on whale watching trips, will be the first to be taken if whaling is resumed in the same areas. Whale watching generated $2.1 billion annually in tourism revenue worldwide, employing around 13,000 workers. In contrast, the whaling industry, with the moratorium in place, generates $31 million per year. Whales played a major part in shaping the art forms of many coastal civilizations, such as the Norse, with some dating to the Stone Age. Petroglyphs off a cliff face in South Korea show 300 depictions of various animals, a third of which are whales. Some show particular detail in which there are throat pleats, typical of rorquals. These petroglyphs show these people of around 7,000 to 3,500 BCE in South Korea were highly dependent on whales. The Pacific Islanders and Aboriginal Australians viewed whales as bringers of good and joy. One exception is French Polynesia, where cetaceans are often met with brutality. In coastal regions of China, Korea, and Vietnam, the worship of whale gods, who were associated with dragon kings after the arrival of Buddhism, was present along with related legends. In Thailand, the most common whales found are the bride's whale. In Vietnam, whales hold a sense of divinity. Funerals are sometimes held for beached whales, a custom deriving from Vietnam's ancient sea-based Champa Kingdom. Whales play a role in sacred texts. The story of Jonah being swallowed by a great fish is told both in the Quran and the biblical book of Jonah. This episode was frequently depicted in medieval art. For example, on a 12th century column capital at the Abbey Church in France. The Leviathan described at length in Job 41 is generally understood to refer to a whale. The sea monsters in Lamentations have been taken by some to refer to marine mammals, in particular whales, although most modern versions use the word jackals instead. In 1585, Alessandro Farnese and Francois, Duke of Anjou, were greeted on his ceremonial entry into the port city of Antwerp by floats including Neptune and the Whale, indicating at least the city's dependence on the sea for its wealth. In 1896, an article in the Pall Mall Gazette popularized a practice of alternative medicine that probably began in the whaling town of Eden, Australia, 2 years earlier. It was believed that climbing inside a whale carcass and remaining there for a few hours would relieve symptoms of rheumatism. Whales are prevalent in modern literature. Herman Melville's Moby Dick features a great white whale as the main antagonist for Ahab. The tale is partly based on historical events. Rudyard Kipling's Just So Stories includes the story of how the whale got in his throat. A whale features in the award-winning children's book, The Snail and the Whale, by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. Nicky Caro's film The Whale Rider has a Maori girl ride a whale on her journey to be a suitable heir to the chieftainship. Walt Disney's film Pinocchio features a showdown with a giant whale named Monstro at the end of the film, voiced by Thurl Ravenscroft. A recording of Song with a Humpback Whale by a team of marine scientists became popular in 1970. Alan Hovhannis's orchestral composition, And God Created Great Whales, also written in 1970, includes the recorded sounds of humpback and bowhead whales.